Well, hello, and welcome to Ration Museum Bulletin number 44. It is June 6th, 2021, and we are back in the archives to do some scanning today. Not 3D scanning this time. We're going to do some old-fashioned scanning with a big old flatbed. And we're going to try and get all of the old-timey advertisements into the Google Drive, I guess. We'll get them scanned up and we'll get them online. And then we'll be able to work with those to get them on the website, to share those with people, because I know that there's a lot of folks out there would like to be able to reproduce these. And that's something that I think we're going to do as part of the museum fundraising, and just what we have available in general is going to hopefully include sharing some of these things for purchase at some point. But we also want to share the whole database of all these with the public in general. So I want to make sure we get the collection up online and get downloadable PDFs and blah, 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 all that good stuff. So I've done some experimenting, and I only almost ruined one ad. So that was a fun start. So the scanner has like a feed mechanism on the top, and it has just the flatbed inside. And I put through a whole bunch of test scan sheets from the top. Everything was fine. I ran a couple ads through the top. Everything's fine. And then I forgot about the kinds of ads where it's two pieces of paper folded over, or it's like a whole page from the, from the original magazine or booklet or whatever it was. And yeah, as soon as it fed that double sheet in, it tore or crunched. It was awful. So, we don't hide our mistakes here. I make mistakes. You guys see them, etc. So I crumpled this one quite a bit. Thankfully, the other side is what got completely mangled, and the other side is not useful necessarily. So the part that we wanted is just pretty badly crumpled, and I'm thinking when it gets pressed in and gets scanned, it should still be pretty okay. But that was a mistake. I'll have to keep an eye out for another United Steel ad talking about making military kitchens. So other than that, it was an okay experiment, but I'm going to use flatbed only. Even though everything was okay with the flat stuff, I'm going to use flatbed only. And actually, I did put through one double sheet that was fine. And in retrospect, I am so happy it's fine, because this is one of my very favorite ads, and thankfully I did not ruin it. Oh my God, I would not be okay with ruining this one. So there we go. Hey Quint, hey Yossi, hey Chris, hey Jeremiah, Pete. Good to see all you guys. Hey Corey, Kaylin. Oh, we got the gangs all here so far. I'm drinking some pink lemonade from JW Speaker MRE. Whoa, I did not put enough water in it. Whoa. Okay. Well, maybe I'll use that to wake up every now and then. Chris, I see we're talking about an upcoming wedding. I hope the rest of the prep gets easier and easier and easier, and the big day is, very, very pleasant for you and everybody. So let's start out with some mail call. I picked up a couple things. Ooh, there's another box. 1 second. I picked up a couple things. Some of them before the last stream just got here, and some of them after. I really gotta stop looking at eBay. This is like the old days. I can't help myself. There's too many things that pop up that, like, especially now after knowing for years that they don't pop up very often, I keep not stopping myself. Thankfully, I lost one today that, it would have been a good addition, but I really shouldn't have bid as much as I did on it. And thankfully, I didn't end up getting it. It was a pilot's survival vest from 1965 with the Part 1 and 2 survival kit and the sear kit and I think the seek kit, either the sear kit or the seek kit, but would have been one of the ones with like, I want to say it had the signal pen and it had, well, it definitely had like the stay awake, stay alive drugs because that sheet was folded out. It was an interesting one. Hey, JW, I was just saying, drinking some pink lemonade you had sent in. That's a bit strong in the way that I made it. Hey, Gail. Hey, JW, by the way. So, yeah, I'm also still kicking around whether or not to try and get this B-17 galley that I've been keeping an eye on. So the whole thing, that'd be pretty neat. So without further rambling, we'll jump into what I picked up in between streams. Some of this I intend to eat, some of it's for trading, some of it's for the museum. So there was a guy who was selling lots of 6 food packet survival general purpose, and he still is. There's quite a few of them on eBay right now, but I'm looking for one very specific type that it was nice to get the ones that I got, but I mean for half of what it was, but for one half specifically, it was exactly what I wanted. So these are great. I don't think I had one with the actual text on it before, so let me switch to this one as the main view for the moment. All right, so food packet survival general purpose interim. So this is a mid-90s one. This is 1994. This one, it was what I initially thought I was going for, but after some extra digging, I realized this wasn't the one that was going to contain the Wintergreen bar necessarily. So this particular pack of 6 came with 3 of the 1994 interim edition ones, in between the 80s can and the finalized cardboard box version. And then it came with 3 of the 1992 day 365, 2002 day 365 food packet survival general purpose. These are in these kind of waterproofed outer boxes, and I opened this one just to make sure what it was. So we're going to open this again together and just take a look through what we got here, because we're going to eat some of this. Well, I'm going to eat some of this. So this one in particular has what I consider holy grail, and what I consider to be a holy grail item. So these things I love. These bars were more prevalent in the 80s and 90s MREs. I don't think there's anything that has. No, I mean there isn't anything that has a bar like this. Just in a regular menu MRE. They might still have them in like MCWs or LRPs or something. Not sure. So this has 1, 2 shortbread bars. It has a chocolate dessert bar. It has a cornflake cereal bar. It has a granola bar. And then it has a wintergreen bar. What's a wintergreen bar, you may ask? Well, Wintergreen Lifesavers, the kind that are kind of chalky and white, but very, very minty. Well, that's this as a brick. This whole thing is that material. And depending on how dark we can get an area, we might try and snap and see some sparks with this thing. So that's the Wintergreen bar. I'm gonna start out. Oh, so these also had an iced tea. You know, same kind that went to the MREs, and the chicken soup that always goes bad. In this particular one, it doesn't look so bad yet. Like, it's not leaking, it hasn't started to oxidize or turn or anything. So there's even a chance this soup's okay. Gonna make some iced tea in a bit, but we'll start. I'm showing this to the camera that's not turned on. There we go. But we'll start out with this chocolate dessert bar. Smokey was just telling me he had one of those he was going to send my way, and I was saying, no, I just snagged these. So I think he has one of these Wintergreen bars. And if he does, you should eat it. So let's see. This is the chocolate dessert bar. This is pretty much a great big chocolate cookie. So of these bars might be one that's gone a little bad. The chocolate sometimes isn't great. So this is 19 years old-ish. This is awesome. I mean, so I haven't eaten yet today, and every time I went to eat something, I'm like, no, 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 no. You've got this compressed food bar, meal ahead of you. This is really good. I'm gonna have to check the ingredients in a second. What am I thinking? There's no ingredients printed on these. I'm having that, are there nuts or are there not nuts in this? Kind of conflict in my head. So the chocolate's very much chocolate. I don't know. Now I'm confused, but it's really, really good. Hey, Aletha, welcome. I don't know if the Walmart bakery has anything this good, but tell them to take some of their cookies, compress them into a brick, put them in some foil, and then check on them in almost 20 years, and we'll see. I'm munching a chocolate chip dessert bar, and welcome to the stream, Puppy Breath. This just came out of a food packet survival general purpose 2365 turn of the century Wintergreen bar edition. Now, one of these days I need to track down the actual story behind this and see if I can find the people involved in how this came about over at Sterling Foods. But a number of the food packet survival general purpose versions prior to this had different candies in them. Charms and mints were common in the 90s food packet survival general purpose, the FPSGP. So everything in these were bars, and I feel like someone making the distribution setup for all these bars something didn't click, or something got misinterpreted. Because to make an entire bar, to make a brick of essentially Altoid material, just seems so ridiculously off the wall. I mean, now that I have one in my hands again, it doesn't seem like it's too much to consider like the snack item for a person for a day. But I mean, like, this had the chocolate chip cookie bar, this has 2 shortbread bars, this has a granola bar, and it has a cornflake cereal bar. So across all of this, it's pretty much all snacks. I do want to try one of these shortbread bars. And this Wintergreen, it's pretty much like the Lifesaver Wintergreen. We'll need to see if we can get the lights out or get a space dark enough that we can see the spark, if we can. I'm wondering if I could do something where, like, oh no, that's not even sort of dark in there. We might be able to see a spark in there. I got an idea. Lower this under the table. Get it into a darker space. Glass reflection. Get that around it. Move in there. Okay, here we go. So this might actually be dark enough. So let's see. We're going to open up this Wintergreen. What a ridiculous thing. So it's got a snap in the middle, but it's just a piece of chalk. I mean, it's huge. It immediately makes the entire room smell like mint. So it's been snapped. It's gonna kick up some dust, but I think we can live. So let's see. Ooh. No, I think I'm blocking it, but all right. Oh wow, that is very much a giant lifesaver. All right, one more attempt to see if we can get a spark out of this. So where is the focal point? Because I think I had it mostly off screen the last time. All right. Nah, I'm not seeing a spark. I wonder if it's not the same for these as it is for like the Wintergreen Lifesavers. But that's something I always wanted to check. So maybe we'll go back and triple check after the fact. All right, bit of a mess trying to snap a bunch of pieces of that, but this is great. It's just a whole lot of it. And I still think it's such a bizarre choice. And I could certainly see it being accidental, but I could also see it being fully intentional. just as something to break things up. So we know that they put these officially in bailout kits, in pilots' great big survival backpack for like Arctic or overwater drops, where they've got the cans of water, usually have like 6 of these. They've got the machete, they've got, all that stuff, the blankets, the shelter equipment. Now, the overwater ones have like the great big tank of compressed air, the full life raft, the personal flotation system, and all that stuff. But they have these same food packet survival general purposes in them, instead of like the food packet abandoned ship, or like the food packet life raft abandoned ship, or whatever the heck. The ones that you get these days that are a foil pouch with 3 things of charms, some gum, and I can't remember if they have bullion or not. This box, it's soft, it's pliable, it's probably no good. It really doesn't feel like it would be great inside. It's always kind of interesting that these made it into the food packet survival general purpose. They didn't. It seems like they intended these things to be very temporary, but the whole structure of them made them seem much more, like you get one and you put it away for 20 years. But they went from the tin cans to the cardboard boxes, and maybe that's another means of like trying to say it's not super long-term storage. But okay. All right, catching up. I think I got howdies in for everybody. Don't think something that gives a spark should be edible, Yossi says. The Lifesavers one, unless I'm crazy, that's definitely a thing. But let's see what one of these shortbread bars is like. But yeah, it's the same material, and maybe if the whole bar wasn't already broke and we went into a jet dark room and tried it, there'd be a little one, but probably not, I guess, with this. Shortbread. So this should be pretty much like a great big shortbread Girl Scout cookie. Yeah, Pete, if we were worried about the individual compounds of things, we'd be too terrified to do just about anything. Table salt, sodium chloride, sodium chloride. You don't want to encounter either of those on their own, but sodium chloride, totally fine. There's no real discoloring on this. It's a little bit mottled color and appearance in general, but it's dry, it's crumbly, but it's also, it's got just enough moisture level that, it doesn't make you feel like you're eating a bunch of dry crackers or something. It's got a really smooth texture once you're chewing it up. It really is just like fresh shortbread cookies. Yeah, it looks like MDF. So let's see. We've also got the Cornflake Bar and the Granola Bar. I think I'm going to put them to the side for now. Come back to those. And one more shortbread. I saved some Wintergreen bar for some coworkers to try on Monday. And I'd call that a success overall. I have 2 more from that era. They're going to be held on to for a very long time. Now, these interim ones, I'm going to keep 1, maybe 2. The other or others will go into the trading fodder. Nope, it doesn't look like we got Nick today. He had potentially some family stuff that was going to come up, so he let me know. It was a maybe, but today I'm just going to be scanning a whole lot of old-timey advertisements. So not a lot of boxes in and out, and the scans take 30 seconds each or something. So it'll work out timing-wise pretty good to scan, type it in. I hope the typing isn't too loud for you guys. We'll see how that goes. I might, have to grab another machine to type on next to me. Or might bug Corey if he's in and still up for it. Either way, I don't think it's going to be too bad. And I'm going through the motions of opening this box without even keeping it on camera. Okay, so this is an acquisition for the museum. We saw the brother to one of these a couple weeks ago. Well, this is very interesting packing material. I'm not sure how to under what that is, but so it turns out whatever we had last week, or I mean not last week, a couple weeks ago, that said it was AZU, that's a food, Azu. I don't know much about it, but that wasn't a mistranslated something. That's just the name of it. So yeah, English on the bottom for these. So we got a chopped ham. We got a liver paste. Still feels pretty liquid in there. And last but not least, wow, this is some really interesting bubble wrap, just in general, material. Last but not least, we have beef stroganoff and sour cream sauce. These all also appear to be 1994. Well, let's see. Just like the other one I have. They all have the 94 stamp in the bottom corner and 94 in what I believe to be the big code up top. So I'm not sure. So we got 220294 and we got 230294 and 060294. So they're all made in 1994, not too far apart. And this 6 might be an 8, not sure. I can't recall what it was in the other one. I want to say it was also February 1994. But yeah, how cool is that? Yeah, these aren't These aren't huge, but they're also not super small. They're about the size of a can of tuna or cat food. So these will be a really nice addition to the just post-Soviet Union Russian space program. You can even see they had their shuttle on here, thinking it was going to have a much more vibrant life. It had a test flight. They built, I want to say, 3 of them. 1 complete that flew, and 2 that were partial, that were nearly complete, that were abandoned in, I want to say, Baikonur. It's still, I mean, they're both still there. It's a known urban exploration and kind of rite of passage out there to sneak into the great big hangar that houses the 2 abandoned Soviet space shuttles. That are just massive like buildings, laying on their sides pretty much. I'd love to go explore that someday, but for one, it's patrolled and probably illegal to be there, and 2, I'm no spring chicken anymore, in terms of, as soon as I start climbing something, I'm sure I'm going to slip and break my back. So, 1.5 Soviet shuttles. All right, let's try again on this extreme pink lemonade. Oh, all right, I got it. I gotta try and get a little bit more water in here, not above any electronics. So the scanning setup that we're going to use today, I was trying to get it to work where it would scan over the network and drop the file off. That wasn't playing nice with me, but I tried opening a direct connection to Google Drive and scanning directly into Google Drive. That works, but it takes like 2 minutes per scan, and that was ridiculous. So I'm doing scanning directly to USB stick. So we'll keep the camera looking at the up next pile, as opposed to getting to kind of feed them through on here like I was hoping to. But maybe partway through we'll grab the stick, dump everything to here, and then go back to scanning while we go do a slideshow or something from the stick. But first thing, oh, they crushed the Burin? That's not what you do with something that made history. That's not what you do with... Oh. I mean, similarly, I hope they don't completely dismantle or destroy the Starship 15, or serial number 15, SN15. It landed. It was successfully, taken back to the hangar. They should keep that thing, as a piece of the history. I'm talking about SpaceX, by the way. Yes, yeah, I really hope you do get to come visit someday. When we're an actual museum where you can walk around and see exhibits. But if you ever happen to get out here before then, absolutely get in touch. You're more than welcome to come in here, and I'll show you around, and we can dig through the collection, and maybe go to Zahav if you're not looking for some Philly cuisine. If so, there's some good cheesesteak around here. I was realizing the other day I hadn't had a cheesesteak in a few years, or like at least a year and a half. So I corrected that on Friday. No one yell at me anymore. I went and I got a really good one. Yeah, somebody was talking about that, I think, on the Slack, which has gotten all sorts of active again, and I'm going to be trying to show up on MRE info again. It's a lot to try and get caught up. I used to start the day with the unread page on MRE info and try and make sure I saw every single post before I went, to work or, wherever, or school even, going, no, I wasn't still in school when I started there. Excuse me. But you know, just trying to stay up on top of everything. And for me, as a collector, you know, it was always like just trying to spot those potential trades or deals, you know, before other folks did. And now it's just, you know, it's like, please don't show me the really good stuff. Please don't show me the really good stuff. I can't help it. I can't avoid it. You know. I wonder who what was, Corey. Oh, yeah, that's right. Telling me, or making me feel self-conscious about not eating a Philly cheesesteak in a while. So I got one at Nick's Steaks up the street, and very much recommend them if you're ever in Old City. Okay, so Monroe County barbecue in Kentucky. That sounds good. Southern barbecue. You can't really go wrong. You got all kinds of good foods in one place. You know, and then Texas brisket. That's a whole nother food experience that you gotta have. So before I get too lost in the weeds, what I want to do is start going through everything behind me and breaking it up into micro collections, so that we can then scan everything together and sub-classify them as ration ads, manufacturing ads, cigarette ads. And at least for right now, that's what I'm thinking of. And I don't remember if I have any, like, just straight up rationing, like, you know, hold on to your coupons because Hitler's going to take your corn. No, I don't know. But we'll see as we go. So first we're going to break these up into piles. Then we're going to just dig into the piles and scan. So I've already spent 40 minutes talking and eating. So it's time to get these non-breathing awful gloves on. I gotta get some better gloves for wearing for hours at some point. You know, powdered latex or something. Because these nitrile, you know, just plain gloves, they get a little gross after a bit. Thankfully, I got a bunch of pairs. So, all right. Oh God, Philly's, yeah. Pete's saying there's tons of good food in Philly. Absolutely agree. I think Philly's one of America's top 5 like food cities because of just the huge diversity of what you got here. Silk gloves. That makes a lot more sense for what I'm trying to do here. You know, in longer term, that's probably something I should be doing. But yeah, Philly food. You know, I think probably New York food, San Francisco food. I hear about San Francisco. I've never been there, so I can't speak to that. But let's start with some sorting. I'm going to move the main pile over here. We're going to watch over on this table and get it all sorted out. So let's see. We'll make some space here. Lay down some acid-free backing stuff. But there's another whole thing. I have to get the collection, you know, not just laying on top of each other in plastic, but actually mounted one by one somewhere that's a little safer long term. So I'm sure there's negative effects of what I'm currently doing. All right, get this over here. Phone saying something at me. Phone saying lots of something at me. That's never good. That's never good. fine this time. There's like wintergreen chalk on this camera now. Some extra light over. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start just breaking these out into piles based on what they are, so that then we can make little collections within collections, so to speak. All right, so we've got Campbell's Soup Company. That's specific ration. We've got Milky Ways for military. That would be, I'd say that counts as ration. Oh, now I'm going to want to move this. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll move this so that I can actually see what you guys are saying. I need the Dub C gloves. What does he wear? Yeah, I can imagine Louisville's got some really good food. All right, we've got a cigarette ad. You know, in the backs of these, some of these are just great by themselves. You know, it's, I mean, I've seen some really neat ones. Like, one of the backs of these has a really fantastic Lucky Strikes ad that has nothing to do with the military, so it's not what's in our collection there. So, like, even this one, you got the really nice Kellogg's Cornflakes ad. But this would be an ad for just dextrose. Corn Products Refining Company of New York. So we're going to go ahead and put that as miscellaneous packing and manufacturing. We've got Chesterfield ads. Let's see. Let me see if I can do something about the light a little bit better than I was there. Trying not to get so much reflection so that when I hold one of these up, you guys can actually see it. There we go. You know, and after this, you won't have to deal with just seeing them here. We'll be able to just share the scans with you, so that'll be nice. Chris says he likes the railroad ads. I have at least one. Got Libby's tomato juice. See, now it's already, all right, gonna need a fourth pile. So I'm gonna have non-military specific food with military folks on it, straight up rations, then cigarettes, then manufacturing. Well, see you in a bit, puppy breath. So this one is Nestle's, specifically talking about the D ration, so that's going to go over there. Here's another variation of the Nestle D ration ads. But I mean, like, on the back here, we got a beautiful Firestone ad talking about making tires for planes. Just neat ads on all sides. If it didn't, you know, extend the job so much. I'd want to scan both. Like, this isn't a rationing ad, this is an equipment ad, but it's a nice one. But the rationing ad, specifically because of this whole section up there with the contents of a K, is a Sylvania cellophane ad, just talking about the manufacturing process. So that goes over there. Oh, and a duplicate of that same ad with the same one on the back. So interesting. Pick that one up twice. That's fine. Happens once in a while. We got another Campbell's soup. This has got the C ration cans. The other one had a Jeep on it, so this is a separate one. Another great Camel ad. Yeah, a lot of these are in perfect shape. I'm really happy. You know, folks have kept these things in such good shape for so long. I'm still going to beat myself up over the one that I damaged today. Hopefully it scans okay. Thankfully it wasn't one of the insanely great ones. So, so I kind of glossed over. We have another Pall Mall one. The little advertising gimmicks. It's like, look, ours are bigger. War stamps for Bobby and camels for you. Dub C has an excellent pair he gives as a gift. Oh. The pneumatic packaging and bottling company. This one's an ad for the merchant, or that talks about the merchant marine, and then at the bottom shows some of their packaging products. Coast Guard. Oh wait, no, that one's Coast Guard. I have another one that's merchant marine. More pneumatic packing company. This one, the scene is a field medical station, and they're talking about bottled antiseptics, and they go down into a lot of their bottled products. We got Kraft French dressing, beech nut chopped foods, carrots, got Castoria, got Bosco, got Vaseline hair tonic. Continental Can Company, we'll see quite a bit. They've been packaging rations for years and years. This is talking, I think, about Sterno or an alcohol stove as the can. I think it's a alcohol stove you pour into. So there's packaging, packagers. Got another nice Chesterfield ad. Whoop. What did I do here? When did I screw that up? Oh, I've been putting the Chesterfields on. I've been putting all the cigarette ads on the wrong pile for a little bit. Okay, yeah. Okay. No, guess that wasn't too bad of a position. Hey, Bus Stop, welcome to the stream. Yeah, don't forget your T-zone. Your tobacco zone gets stimulated by Lucky Strikes. A&P supermarkets. I'm going to put this with the Homefront Foods kind of pile. Got a good motorcycle core camel ad, or motorcycle cavalry. Got a DuPont cellophane, talking about all kinds of rations down there. Even the lemon juice powder. Got another pneumatic packing. Modern packing for the Navy. Cereals, crackers, boxed goods, etc. Submarine. Still pneumatic packing company. Just talking about different audiences for their packed goods. Oh, I thought this was an ad for like an Atkins diet or something. Atkins saws. Okay. Like, what? I can't go back that far. See, so this looks like some kind of Arctic group. And it doesn't specifically say what region this is supposed to be. Looks like an airfield somewhere. Not sure. In that ad, I just know they're in uniforms. Was it Chris or who was saying they like the railroad ones? Here's a Pennsylvania Railroad Company ration one. So you can see packing up the crates of rations. The text up top is rushing the rations. That'll be packers and packing and transportation and manufacturing, I guess. Still not sure about this A&P. I think it's good where it is. Oh, I do have some regular rationing effort stuff, because here's some bird's eye stuff, and I know I have a few more of these, so in similar series. So, how to make the most of your ration coupons. This week's feature, spinach. How to use spinach to stretch things. This one's for the Truscon Steel Company. Looks like they're making steel trusses to build landing strips in this case. I would assume with the airplane in the back. Oh yeah. The text up top. Ready-made runways for warbirds everywhere. So putting that with manufacturing effort to the right. This fantastic one by the American Meat Institute. Just going to pop that over there in the direct rations one. So here's another bird's eye one that was for rationing. How to make this delicious, super delicious corn last and last and last. So again, how to stretch what you got you know, in this case, we're talking bird's eye frozen vegetables and etc. But on the back is this really nice Lucky Strike ad. But this is definitely for the Ration Museum, so the rationing one is the one we worry about. Plaskin resin. This is just such a great one. The 5-in-1 boxes were intentionally made to be tossed out into the sea, float to land, and have everything be fine. You know, that's just super cool. Waterproof resin. I'm going to put that with manufacturing process. No. I'm going to put that with direct rations, just since that's got the pictures of the 5-in-1. Just double checking that none of these do. Yeah. Was I putting DuPont cellophane ones over here? Nestle's D bars. I don't know. Now I'm not sure how I want to split these up. I think the DuPont cellophane ones that show the actual rations belong over there. That's how I'm going to do it. See, this ready-made runways actually... Nope, I just realized. I'm like, why would I care so much about runways? That's a great ad, but that's not what I got it for. This is the Iron Ration ad by Monsanto Chemicals. That's why I wanted this one. So... I'm going to say that's manufacturing effort over here. Could have sworn I had a second DuPont cellophane one, but I think it's just the other two cellophane ones. So this is talking about Field Ration D, the one over here, but no, I will say it's a direct ration one. See, this is my madness. My madness will play out step by step over here. Wait, what stories are we missing? Oh, it's Camels that had the T-zone, my bad. Oh, Original Fireman Cancels in here. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, there you are. And Joe Green, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for the the eBay auction tips every now and then. I appreciate those. So this is General Mills. Let's see. Yep, that's the one we want. So I'm going to put this in packing effort. Got a big mobile gas Field Ration K. Put that in direct rations. And you can see I've got that canteen from World War I. This is definitely during World War II. Bin Sod was the cover. So this is the inside. 10 cents for Life magazine. May 31st, 1943. Armour Food Company. There's a Collier's magazine. Oop. From March 13th, 1943. So the Armour Company talking about eggs in this case. So let's see, that probably fits with packing, manufacturing, distribution specific to rations. See, this stuff is all more specific to. I'll put this A&P one over there. That's how I'll break it up. These are more. I just don't know. Just don't know what's a good mix. A&P's talking about distribution. These are talking about actual food products. So that's how I'll do that. This is by, let's see, the American Meat Institute of Chicago. I feel like there's something on this lens. Let's see. Apologies if so. I'm going to say direct ration for the 5-in-1. We got another direct because the Campbell's soup cans. Let's see. Got a nice old gold cigarettes one, but let's see. It's on the other side. Procter & Gamble fat in rations. So that's what we want. The old gold ad is nice, for sure, but not why we got it. Groucho Marx Blackstone cigar ad on the inside there. Another Armor company showing some pleasantly populated mess kits. Those all look good. They got the enameled cups on these. So this is the 5-in-1 ration. This is what it could look like all cooked up, you know? Between, see, so like this one had prunes in it, cans of prunes, biscuits, apricot jam, meat and vegetable stew, bean soup, corned roast beef, rice. Oh yeah, they had the cans of rice. All right, that's going to go over there. Get a good. So yeah, the reason that cigarette ad jumped out at me is not intentional in the collection. Is didn't have any soldiers in it. Got to have somebody from the armed forces in it if it's a cigarette ad, or it doesn't count. Hey Rachel. That sounds terrible. Sorry to hear you're going through having to say goodbye to your pet, your companion. Let's see, we got some Chesterfields for mildness and better taste. More than 75,000 women in war services today. You can join now. That's what that one says. Here we go. It's handing him a U.S. Army field ration dinner unit. Talking about all the things folks give up in order to support the troops. The metal you do without makes the gun he can't do without. The war bonds you buy make him the best equipped soldier in the world. Help stretch rubber so he'll have a gas mask. Your ration stamps mean rations for him. The shoe leather you do without will carry him to Berlin. You know, it's a different era, and it's captured in a lot of these. This is Napoleon. Pardon us, Napoleon. We say it's on its packages. So it's like, you know, an army marches on its stomach, and they're saying, now it's on packaging. It talks about the boxes made by the package machinery company for anything from soup to K-2 biscuits come a square. And so many varieties of these things that I'd like to stumble upon someday. Like those biscuits, K-2 biscuits come a square. Put that in the packaging pile. We've got another great looking camel ad with a tank. I might have already had one of these. We'll see when we resort those. Got another good DuPont cellophane one. Candy is a fighting food, has another really good close-up of the D. You know, which there are quite a few varieties. There's the small D bars, there's the big ones, there's the scored ones. You know, it's not, there wasn't just one type. This is using the 3-ounce wax stove. So that's the little snap bricks. I think Bob Sauerwine was just asking me about these. So there was the original stove that was meant to cook up, I want to say 6 individual portions or 1 5-in-1 ration. And then there was the replacement that was the little bar that had 2 sets of dividing lines that you would cut. That was sawdust and paraffin wax. And then they made a separate one that was for the 5-in-1s at that point. But yeah, this would be talking about the advent of those wax stoves for boiling water, for cooking rations. And normally you'd be told just dig a little hole in the ground, you know, give it a longer trench on one side, put your cup on top of that, burn the wax in the ground, which served a couple purposes. You know, it didn't leave as much of a mark on the surface when you scrape that back over. It was much harder to see if your fire was underground, or below the ground level. It provided insulation from wind. It you know, made the most of the energy in there, etc. This is Durkee's dressing, which is just margarine. It seems like, looks like he's putting margarine on a steak there. Lord Calvert having just a glass of scotch. There's the Durkee's guy putting it on a steak. I realize I always hold these things wrong. So we're going to go ahead and say not specifically rations, but has a soldier in it, so go in there. We got another good DuPont cellophane. Dextrose tablets, fruit bar, graham biscuits, cigarettes, lemon juice, bouillon, D-ration. I should go quicker because this is just the sorting part, and we're only an hour and change in, and I've only got to scan all these. It might get through a good chunk. So this is a Westinghouse ad. They're carrying cases of rations. It says saving tin to preserve food for fighters. So I guess they're reminding folks that they're not making as many electronics items. I'll put this over in packers and distributors because they're saving the metal to make ration cans. This is a towels company. Millions of Canon towels are now going to the armed forces, so you may find a smaller selection in stores. You know, this is exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of these ads are because the makers had to remind people, you know, regularly, like, we didn't disappear. We're not gone. Please don't forget about us when the war's over. Right now, we're just, you know, we're making everything we can make to support the war. So fewer styles and a limited, okay, yeah, so you may find a smaller selection in stores with fewer styles and a limited variety of colors. But the durable canning quality, the hardy quality that will see you through remains the same. When the war is over, Canon will again present the newest designs for the most charming in the most charming colors for victory by U.S. war bonds. So that's on a Life, December 20th, 1943, inside cover. Canon towels. Oh, that's not rations. That's civilian branding. And I guess this Westinghouse one is too. I don't know. Civilian branding with Army stuff on it. Civilian branding with Army stuff on it. Just civilian stuff. No, this is to do with rationing. This is to do with rationing. I don't know. These all make sense, I think. Civilian brands over here. We got more Campbell's soup. I mean, but then why wouldn't... So Campbell's soup... Well, Campbell's soup's talking about making ration food. Rachel, you saying you're doing an old ration? How old? What are you going to eat? Sounds interesting. We got another Nestle chocolate ad. So this one's talking, nobody's going to say no to Toll House cookies with Nestle chocolate chips in them. It's another Milky Way ad. Last one was buy a snack for a whack. This one is boy, I'm strong for Milky Ways. Got another Nestle's ad talking about ration cocoa. Now this and this, they don't have any specific ration in them, so they'll go there. Ever try eating lunch on a PT boat? This one had some water damage when I got it, but still looked good. I think I might have gotten the second one eventually. We'll see. Public Health Committee of the Cup and Container Institute. I'm going to go ahead and pop that over to the right. Purina. Let's see, what did Purina make? They made food. Yep, Purina Mills made food during the war. So that says field rations right on it. I'll pop that over there. Yeah, it doesn't call out a specific one, so that goes there. Then we got Crosley, the, I want to say radio, appliance company. Twice as much food to the front. Nice bunches of pictures of ration crates there. The parachuting field ration box I will count. Oh, I was looking for this one the other day. Somebody was talking about Tushonka, and I love this ad. It's Savinya Tushonka, made in the USA. But that's that, very traditional Russian, Russian consumed. I don't know if it's theirs originally, but hearty, fatty beef stew, and other animals, depending on where you're at. Seeing if there's anything else on this one. Nope. So General American Transportation Corporation. Yeah, go with that. What will your soldier eat today? This one has like a little menu tacked to a post. Breakfast: oranges, oatmeal, fresh milk, pork sausage, muffins, butter, coffee. Dinner is roast lamb and gravy, bread, tomatoes, parsley, potatoes, cottage cheese, bread, butter, coffee, strawberry shortcake. Dinner is lamb savory, lima beans, pickled beets, bread, butter, plain cake, iced cocoa. So that'll be Barrett Division of Allied Chemical. I'm going to pop that over there. This is a different one of the 5-in-1s being floatable. Also, well, this one's the American Meat Institute, not the chemical company that was making them waterproof, but just another one showing them floating in. Nothing like meat from home, American Meat Institute. Pop that one over here. Well, God, I'm awful at figuring out what should go where. Directly shows me eating a ration. So do these two. So does this one. I don't know. Fire insurance. Or no, it must be the fire insurance. How fire insurance helps speed supplies to your fighting son. Interesting. These services safeguard food and raw materials, warehouses, and war factories. Got it. So, background effort. You got Seal Right, sanitary paper containers. Got some ice cream there. That guy's happy. Eating his ice cream. We'll put that over in the containers and packers and etc. Got a good DuPont cellophane one. Carrying boxes and boxes of dehydrated soup. Another good Crosley one. A little one. Which comes first, your second helping or a second front? Put that over here. Only a few more to split out in the piles. Chesterfield Merchant Marine ad. Camel Field Doctor ad. He's a doctor, he knows. You need your camels. There we got our T-zone. Can't forget the T-zone. And you're right, camel ad. Soldiers on skis. Another good camel ad with sending cartons of cigarettes to soldiers overseas. Gift bill welcome on the front. Pall Mall ad. Pall Mall's got that, like, ours are bigger. See? They're that much longer. You get to smoke for longer. Don't you want to take a longer break? Rosie the Riveter style. Women working in the factories, and just still includes some servicemen, so considered that a good one for the collection. Glider pilots. Also Camel's ad. I think most of the rest of these are cigarettes. Chesterfield ad. Good Camel one. We got Sergeant Bilko likes his Camels. Now this one's a little dirty, just because it's it's not one I'd ever seen before, so accepted the condition just for the fact that I may never find another one of that type. I may find another one next week, but they can't all be perfect looking, So here we got another Pall Mall that wants to highlight size difference. Same thing there. They got the guy showing side by side. This one's artillery. The last one was tanks. See, so here we got L&M. Low tar, more taste. Can't say I'm familiar with L&M brand cigarettes. Liggett and Myers. It's 1959, a little later. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can enjoy a Camel. Marine jump training. Camel. A different angle of an artillery setup. Camel. I mean, no, Pall Mall, sorry. Pall Mall, size difference. He doesn't say where, but he got the Camels, referencing the loose lips sink ships. Couldn't necessarily know where your loved one was fighting at all, because it could give things away. This is the Can Manufacturers Institute of New York. In the end, after victory, they'll be back. Just reminding folks, you'll get all your conveniences again soon. Women in the War. Camel ad. Wherever you find the services, you'll find camels. And steady nerves. General Motors ad. Healthier, huskier, happier, or huskier, healthier, happier. Nice mess tray set up there. Then the one that I somewhat mangled, still scannable, I think, just a little wrinkled. U.S. Steel. And then I have one more that's not going to scan, just because it's so big. but I might do it in 2 parts and try and overlap it. But I love that one. It's another Purina Mills one. All right, so let's see. I think that's the whole pot. Maybe not. There's still a couple of these. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. No, there's. Oh, okay. Yeah. Of course. There's ones we didn't get to. Some of the best ones. The Victory Vitamin C ads from Florida grapefruit juice. Oh, do I want to keep them completely on their own? No, they can go in with this set. Nah. Okay. So we've got between dog fights he guzzled grapefruit juice. Yeah, grapefruit juice. So don't feel too bad about missing yours. The seed. God, I'm just awful. Little loopy. Between dog fights, he guzzled grapefruit juice, so don't feel too bad about missing your glass this morning. And that's the general idea with all these grapefruit juice ads is, you know, you can't have it somewhere else, but don't forget us. And this one's my favorite because bomber crews must have Victory Vitamin C. Maybe your canned Florida grapefruit juice is over Nazi rooftops tonight. Like, just think about, you know, like a can of juice just sitting in a bomber that, you know, did something historic. It's good to know our boys chasing Adolf Supermen are armed with Victory Vitamin C. All right. Let me just double check the rest of this here pile. I'm going to put this foldable one on top for the moment. Just making sure nothing's hiding between layers of cardboard. And I'm just going to set up some receiving areas over here. Put them after I scan them, and then we'll get going. I missed the whole mail call item, but honestly, with the way we got a slow start, I should probably just do that one next week. All right. Now that I've got everything started, I'm going to change this back around. Okay. They sell L&M cigarettes in your area, Angry Blacksmith? That's awesome. I mean, it's just funny that, you know, they tie back into that. That is one of those later ads. There was a ad on the back for a Lark automobile. Not a Skylark, just a Lark. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick snack, one of those bars, and then get to work scanning. So what do we think? Cornflake Bar or Granola Bar? What are we gonna experience next? Cornflake or granola? Yeah, cigarettes were very commonly advertised until around the turn of the century. Just seeing comments as to how we don't quite see as many these kinds of ads anymore. And you know, yeah, they're not ubiquitous anymore. Oh, and I just scrolled back. I see you're gonna have a 95 pork rib with barbecue sauce. That sounds really good. I hope it's in good condition. And a beef stew from back then. Got it. Corey said his chocolate bar tasted like infection. I ate that one. You must have missed it. That was the first one. Oh wait, cornflake bar. Oh no, you didn't say chocolate. You said cornflake. Okay, so I had the chocolate. Let's try the cornflake. Tasted like infection, like iodine or something. Hey Bob. Welcome to the stream. All right. So it looks pretty normal. You had me all worried, Corey. This tastes like cornflakes. Yeah, this is good. This is probably one of the better ones of these I've ever had. I mean, maybe. So you've had cornflakes just as the regular cereal before, right, Corey? Because I'm just thinking maybe the flavor itself isn't something you're super familiar with. But I don't see why you wouldn't have corn cereal over there. I should drink most of this. Sitting here eating compressed food bricks with pretty much nothing to drink. Okay. Now I don't feel so bad. I certainly don't want any ill effects of eating too much compressed food. I'm definitely going to feel a whole heck of a lot fuller in a minute. So for anybody joining, I think the highlight so far of the mail call was these. Added 3 more to the set. Liver paste, beef stroganoff and sour cream sauce, and chopped ham. All Russian Space Program, 1994. And I can't pronounce it. I can't remember. The first one, Cosmos, that's easy enough. And the second one, it's like 3EMAR, but it doesn't sound like. I mean, obviously 3 doesn't have a pronunciation, but yeah, I mean, like, you don't say 3, you say whatever letter it's supposed to be in Cyrillic. But the translation of those two words is Space Earth. So I thought that was neat. You know, it's the Space Earth program. So I had one other can of those. That was a food product called Azu, A-Z-U, that I'm just not familiar with. Not sure. At first I thought it was translated from Russian into something other than Russian, or just the, you know, Western characters for the Russian word, until I got these and see that no, it's something called Azu. But these, you know, these all have, you know, very clear English on them. You know, and they're all in this same general range date-wise. This one's the 23rd of February, 1994. And I don't know what the second row means. They're quite different throughout. One space 565C, 1 space 310C, and 1 space 35C are the 3 things written on them. In between the date year, or the date rows. All right, that's a good snack. That leaves us the granola bar to wrap it all up with later. I mean, if I eat the shortbread bar too, then that's the entire thing pretty much, other than the 2 cubes of Wintergreen bar that I saved. And for anybody that missed that, I ate half of one of these, and here's a chunk of what's left. Just full bar sized Altoid, pretty much. Or like mint lifesaver. Really, really neat. I liked it. I think it's pretty heavy flavor-wise. Okay, so the next stage of what we're doing here, I'm not sure how to make that interesting to watch. I guess we'll set it up so that you have a really clear shot of each thing that I'm about to pick up to scan, and then we'll, I don't know, try and keep it moving. But what I wanted to do that I couldn't end up getting ready for today was I wanted to be actively showing as we scan, and it just wasn't in the cards, unfortunately. I wanted to be showing, like, you know, straight to this. So we'll do a set, and then, excuse me, we'll probably pull the stick, load everything on here, and then be able to do a slideshow slowly through that set while working through the next one. I think that's a potential approach. Just, excuse me, for anyone out there that runs into these things, I will always buy 2002 food packet survival general purpose. If you know them to for certain have wintergreen bars, I will absolutely be interested. One of my weird background obsession items, just like cookie chocolate covered, the flat ones from the 80s. They're like I had quite a few over the years, and I had a pretty good backup pile that I've whittled away. Don't have any yet, or don't have any sitting around at the moment anymore. So I would like to get a few more of those at some point. In this field, you end up getting some weird tastes, and when you can't eat them anymore, it just kind of bugs you in the background until you find one. All right, rambling. So let's see. Put these right here. Bring this down. Oh yeah, the maple nut cake and the cherry nut cake. Oh my God, I'm so glad I finally got to have a good cherry nut cake, a perfect cherry nut cake. That's just something else. Okay, so let me get this camera going and get this lined up somewhere nice. There we go. Wake this beastie up. Get scanning. So I was trying to get this. So that the system auto cropped, but I couldn't get that working. Everything's if you have all the time in the world, you can dial in complicated tech, but it's not what it used to be. Like, this isn't just a box that scans things. Of course, it's a network print server. It's a little microcomputer in and of itself. It has commercial functions to allow people to wirelessly transmit what they scan to things, and whatever. And then it's the printer of 8 billion varieties with a feed from the back, 2 feeds from the front, takes all the different paper types, etc. All I want to do is scan in the same way every time. But these are not a standard size, so I have to pretty much scan the whole bed. And then when doing that, for whatever reason, the only time you'd really want it, the auto crop function does not work. So it's just silly the way it all works out. The downside of the way we're doing it here, I can't be 1,000% certain how good they look until they've been scanned and pulled back off. And we get through a whole set and take a look at what's on the stick. Because otherwise, it'll take a billion years. But hopefully, we've got 2 hours and change left on the stream. We'll get into a good rhythm and just work our way through these. And if everybody wants to say, hey, this is going to be a boring one, goodbye, I won't blame anybody. This is hopefully going to be fun. I wish I could get a better view on those without the titles. Let me see if I can turn off the overlays. Yeah. Just for the rest of this, maybe we don't have those on, so you can get a little bit more of the ad. Yeah, so I want to say, so JW Speaker sent us a beef stew that we ate on air here that had a cherry nut cake that was in perfect condition. Just still, still so happy about that one. And then we pulled a corned beef hash from a 91 case. That didn't have a nut cake. That had something else. That had a pound cake, and that pound cake was good. That's right. The one JW sent us was just really, really. I mean, it was perfect. Everything about it was perfect. And that was like an 86 or an 85. I think an 86. And you know, every now and then you get one of those, and you can see like in the right conditions, MREs. Who the heck knows? Like I've eaten them. Every now and then I get one from pretty far back. I generally don't get to eat them prior to 1984. I don't know that I ever have. Just not stumbling across as many. Though now I do have a bunch of confirmed 1982s that I might try. Yeah, I have some 1991 spaghetti as well that has that maple nut cake in there. That might be one of the next ones on my my list. I got to go quicker with this scanning. It's not the scanner that's slowing me down. '86, yeah. Man, oh man, that was good. Yeah, and the vegetables in that were still distinguishable and bright colored. Overall, like that beef stew that's an excellent example of how well it can go. Like I ate a tuna from '84 once that probably shouldn't have eaten. I survived it, but and of course that's the one I shared with a significant other at the time. Not something known good or from a confirmed excellent case, but you know, an iffy one that was 30 at the time. That was 14. That was 2014 when I ate that one. No, that couldn't have been. No, that was 2009, so it was 25 at the time. That's what it was. Yeah, the tuna. I have some tuna from the 60s and 70s that sound totally fine. I don't know that I'll ever be courageous enough to pop them open and give them a try, but they sound perfect. You know, like when you're shaking a can, you can tell if there's like a big air gap in there. You can tell if, you know, it's still moist in there, or in the case of tuna, it should be straight up wet in there. With the sound of liquid and whatnot. And yeah, some dries out, but some tuna seems like, you know, it might still be fine. But you got to think it's going to be one of those things that like pulls the taste of metal into it. This one's got a bit of a bend in it, just from where the magazine itself, you know, because it's one of those double page ones. So I just want to make sure I get it lined up so that it doesn't have like a little extra page sticking out, you know, in the background. There we go. There we go. It's that nice Crosley one. You know, and part of me feels like I'm missing something that should be part of this whole pile. I am going to have to go take a look next door. Remember the ham and chicken loaf? I've never eaten... Oh, wait. Did that make it into MREs? Turkey loaf, I think, was one of the... So, like, in the very early MREs, I know the loaf products made it in for some of them. But I feel like the last loaf was gone before the 90s. I like loaf meat. You know, unpopular opinion, but Spam, you know, Spam is loaf meat. Ham and chole loaf. Choke. Oh, it's like chole. Like sag chole with lamb. That's actually really, really good. Ham and choke loaf. Yeah, some rations just were never good. Though I want to retry the Five Fingers of Death because I like Vienna sausages, and I bet I would like that one. I have one somewhere, or I have a couple. I don't know, the museum brown bag collection. I've had a lot of those for a decade or more. So I know they haven't been kept in, you know, sub 60 temperatures or anything that whole time. So, you know, some of these later ones that I'm picking up, or more recent like cases I'm picking up, yeah, you don't know like where they've been stored up until the point where you own them. But when you get one and you open it up and everything in it's like perfect, then you've got a pretty good idea that the rest of that case is going to be in good condition from the storage. But like, you know, a lot of the stuff I've had for a decade or more has been 70, 80 degrees on and off, just in the normal course of existence. So I doubt many of those are in that, you know, in that range where you could call them perfect. But, you know, every now and then you get a case that somebody just casually stored frozen for 20, 30 years. Yossi, I tried with the webcam. It wants to be wireless. Like I couldn't make it work over a wire. It wants to do everything wirelessly and it looks great, but there's like a 1.5 second delay when I use it. So if I used it for the stream, I'd need to set it up so that there's like a pause, but then I couldn't do the live with this. I'm going to try and figure out something to use it for, but right now I couldn't use it with the stream because there's like a 1.5 seconds from what the camera sees to what makes it to the laptop. Because it's meant to be a security camera, I think, so that delay doesn't usually hurt anything. But it looks really good. That's the downside. I still haven't. I'll figure it out. If I can add it in here, I will. But I did finally get to try. Smokey opened a case recently. Is that what he's been doing his reviews from? Oh, B Temple had some frozen tan bags. That'd be neat, depending on the year. I'm sending Bob some 91s, and he's sending me some 07s. You know, just exchanging some old fan favorites. I don't know. I have a particular favorite that some people just never could stand. I don't know what's wrong with me, but not ham and cheese, the cheese and vegetable omelet. So now I kind of want to try the ham and cheese omelet, although that's pushing it age-wise. The ham slices, I do want to have another one of those because I have so many of those. Did you ever use the camera in real time, Yossi? Like as a computer webcam, or were you using it for security? Just wondering. Because if you got it working, then I must be doing something wrong, and I'll keep trying. Yeah, the very early MREs had some very MCI sounding menu variations. Just opening up this list real quick. So like in 1980, well, we aren't going to really find those for sure, but the first gen real run of MREs, we had the ham and chicken loaf was one of them. Yeah, no, you're right. That was the only one that came through as a loaf. Turkey diced with gravy, beef diced with gravy. Those are probably what I'm thinking of. Ham slices, it's better than ham and lima beans. And then beef slices and barbecue sauce is similar to the sliced beef in the MCIs. Beef ground with spiced sauce, or chicken loaf. Chicken loaf, that's right. Chicken loaf was definitely one of them just by itself. Though that didn't carry through after the first gen, the very first run. So there were two loaves in the first run, ham and chicken and just chicken. Although not all of them had chicken. They switched over to the ground beef pretty early on. Frankfurters with beans all the way from the beginning. And then it looks like, where did they switch over to just Frankfurters by themselves without beans? It wasn't all the way in the 90s, was it? $1993 Frankfurters. Yeah, I mean, Franks and beans and Gen 1 through 7. That doesn't seem right. And then nothing in Gen 8 and 9, and then, or 10, or 11, or 12. Doesn't sound right. And then Frankfurters came back in 1993. I don't know, that could be right. I'll keep you in the loop, Yossi. It like I said, it looks great. It's just it's trying to do everything transmitting wireless after the fact. So, like, there's that delay from it. Oh, still scanning. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously this camera's washed out. This one's not great, so I do want to switch around. And we'll give it another shot. I'm not sure what the very first MRE I ate was. It was dark brown bag. It had a cookie bar, probably an oatmeal cookie bar, maybe the chocolate chip cookie bar. But have a good night, Corey. Yeah, I'm going to be doing follow-up spreadsheeting on this afterwards, just based on the files, that scan in. But I hope you have a good rest of your night. I didn't count when we were going through stuff. I'm thinking about 70. Might be about 70 ads. Fair enough. We'll see you in 15 minutes then. Wait. Yeah, okay. Second guessing whether I put it up right side up or not. Yeah, there is. It's just, again, it tells you to set it up wirelessly. So it plugs into the wall, and then you link it up with software. I'll take another stab, but yeah, there are English instructions. It has movement control. That's neat. Yeah, all these are going to have just a little bit of white on the edges that I'm going to have to deal with later. There. That's almost good. That's almost good. Oh, Bob. I was showing this one a little bit ago, but these are those wax stoves we were talking about. Those little perforated or dotted line boxes that you set on fire and cook your meal on. Yeah, if he says he knows, Yossi, if he says he knows a trick to use them as a real-time webcam, that might be all it is. But like I should be able to figure it out if it's possible. It's just I keep getting sidetracked with everything else, trying to make sure I get the stream up and going in time. Yeah, these ads, thankfully, they were all produced by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And it's not like they just ran in one issue of something. Most of them ran over and over and over. So these should be pretty attainable. And we've got a nice wide variety, but I bet I haven't even scratched the surface, in reality. One thing, we've got maybe a few dozen photographs, like actual photographs, with press releases and that kind of stuff on them of soldiers eating and whatnot. And that was one thing that I'm like, I'll pick up one, I'll pick up two, I'll pick them up here and there. And you never know, what you'll find or how many you'll find. And I don't have a ton, but just recently Steve was talking about his collection on that front, and he's got, hundreds, if not thousands of that because he very actively hunts them down. So, these private collections of these ads and, like in his case, the photos, love to figure out a way that we could, borrow stuff like that, scan it, and get it back to people in the future when we have too much time and volunteers on our hands. Well, glad you got to stop by, JW. Have a good rest of your night. I know that pain. Yesterday, my phone just kept crashing and crashing in the beginning of Smokey's stream, but thankfully I had my laptop, so I got on that for the whole rest of it. And then I found out today that my phone had a whole bunch of updates in October and November and January that I never ran. So there we go. We'll see how it runs or how it works out after doing all that. Hopefully it doesn't crash anymore. Only a couple more in this set, and then I can pull this stick and we can dump them in here. And just make sure that it's not all in vain. Oh, how terrible would that be? I mean, we'd probably call it and just start over, but after figuring it out. But I think I got this dialed in enough. I mean, there'll be the scans and then like some white space around them that I'll have to chop off later. But that's fine. So in the meantime, this is one of those, I've got to find myself running into some pauses over here. Let's see what have you guys been doing? You know, anybody catch any good ration moments in movies lately? Always like when there's a scene in a mess hall or like a period film where somebody's eating something old. Or anything like that. Then we can pouch these separately and we can say like collection 1, collection 2, collection 3, or, whatever. Just to make it easier to find when we're trying to find something. I'm wondering how long it's going to take once I hit finish on this set. It's waiting to make all these pictures on this stick until I'm done. I don't know. I think it's just keeping the settings through. I think it's putting the pictures on the whole time. I don't know. See. Watching MASH clips on TikTok. You got to send me a link. I don't even know how that would work. But man, I love that show. And there's plenty of good mess hall moments in that. Mess hall moments in there, and kitchen moments, and supply moments, and everything else. It's just a great series. And it has its ups and downs, with the cast changes throughout and all that kind of stuff. But there's just some great ones, like trading peaches for wine, and exploding beans, and army eggs, and the one where Charles wants to make French toast, and because it's his turn to run the kitchen. I think it's the Boxing Day episode. Or not his turn to run the kitchen. Like he's just that's the job he drew in the Do the Enlisted Men's Jobs Day, and wants to make French toast. So he's laying out his perfect French toast recipe, and how many eggs and how much sugar, and how beat until it's a fine froth, etc. And then the kitchen guy just dumps in just barrels and bags of dehydrated ingredients, and hits it with a great big mixing stick, and it's like fine froth that toss in just like loaves of bread. And shall you pinch or shall I? You know, you're gonna call out sacrilege, and you'll be right to do so. Pete's mentioning he's seeing a clip from the movie. I've never seen MASH the movie. I've seen the 11 seasons of the show at least 6 times, but I've never seen MASH the film. I always heard it was just very, very different, and I've never just sat down and watched the whole thing. You know, Gary Burkhoff's the only one that made it through to the TV series, and supposedly it wasn't as polished, but we'll see. I do want to watch it. It is on the short list. Well, there you go. You saw it in the same order. I'll get to see it, I guess, then. You know, normally when I pick up the show, it's a toss up if I'm going to start from the beginning or if I'm just going to jump right into like season 6 or so. You know, from Winchester on, that's definitely what I liked the most for the first few years of it. Then somewhere around like season 9, it starts to change again. I don't know. I think season 6, 7, and 8 are like where it's at. Though there's some really, really good, episodes and moments in the pre-Winchester era. Ferret Face is certainly an unforgettable character. And I think towards the end of the Blake era and the beginning of the Potter era, it was still, like trying to find its footing, but a little bit. But towards the end of Frank and while Potter was there and Frank was there, that was all right. That was getting better. Like he was a little more tolerable at that point. But yeah, it's a great show all the way through. It's all got its ups and downs. Did I scan this or did I not scan this? Now I don't know. Might get the same one twice in a row. That's not the end of the world. Got all of it in a box set. It's got to be big. For a while there, these bootleg box set series were coming out where they compressed things so that you could get entire seasons on one DVD. And I did a couple of those. They were all bootleg stuff, but they worked out. You could have all of Star Trek in that much space. They were all the slim cases too, of course. But otherwise, I had a season of Next Generation on VHS, and it was legitimately a full arm's width, to get 26 VHS tapes or 23 VHS tapes in there. And I think later they started doing 2 per tape, but still, people that had full-on VHS collections in the 80s and 90s needed a room dedicated to it just about. A shelf didn't really cut it. Howdy, Tim. How goes? Your box set looks like a portable bar. That's great. That's great. I don't know where it is. I think it might be in a truck in Nevada with my other Burning Man stuff. Ooh, wait. So here's a dilemma. This one, great ration ad on both sides. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm going to do the Jeep side. But the back side is a ration book ad with Bird's Eye. And we have two others in that same series. I'll have to see if one of the ones we have is the same one. But I won't scan the back because I don't want to confuse the set. Oh, we got a fly in here today. Wonder if he's coming for the Russian canned food. No, thankfully on that, like none of these are under any pressure. None of these are swelling. I think that other one though was swelling. That Azu one. I can't recall. Something that I had Nick check 2 weeks ago. You know, it was very, very pressurized, and that might have been what it was. All right, so this is going to be series 1. We'll just bag this. There we go. All right, so series 1 done and bagged. We only have 3 more series to go, and one of them is dramatically smaller than the rest, so it should not be bad. I need to make a marking on this, though. All right. Ooh, this bag is terrible. Not going to use that. There's like a big chunk missing from it. Hey, Xeno Saga, welcome. Good to see you. So, just to catch you up, this week we are walking through all the print ads and getting high quality scans. We're doing 600 DPI of everything. So, these will be making like 8 or 10 megabyte high quality scans in all cases. So, I'm excited about that. We'll see how fast we can get all these up on the web for folks to share, you know, within the next week is my hope. All right, set 2. These are all the, you know, it's so hard to figure out where I should put some of these, but these are all the Homefront brand ads and home rationing ads. So, okay, we'll get these lined up. All right. And let me pull this stick so that I have a distinction between series 1 and 2. Why would this be here in the chair seat? That screw just goes right on through. It's awful. Ow. Yeah, that's awful. Okay. I'm going to open this up and see what we got. Let me see if I can share this. This is neat. Just bear with me one sec. Just seeing if I can add this in. Oh. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I want. I hope they didn't actually scan like that. Let's see. That'd be a waste and would make 0 sense because I scanned a number of these with the same settings before. Oh, so let's see. Hopefully that's just compressing them. Oh yeah, these are perfect. Oh yeah. Yeah, these are scanned right down to the individual pigment dots in the pictures, you know, in very, very good quality. So these will be good. It's a shame they're gonna, I mean, not a shame. It's gonna be annoying that they all need some photoshopping to chop out the remainder, but they're coming through just fine. So let me ditch this busted slideshow thing. Okay. And we'll jump into the next series. Oh, geez. Yeah, we're pulling for you, Tim. That's a very, very long process. I'm just going to copy these over and make a Series 1 folder. So we've done 29 so far. Not too bad. Sorry for all the bumping of the screen and the keyboard noise and all that stuff, you know. All right. All right, that is backed up. Can put this back. Scan. What is neat, I once I got all the settings down, I was able to just save a little thing, shortcut to the first screen. That's go to scan, go to the, you know, these settings, go to this media type, go to save in this directory with this format, and begin scanning. So it's just put something in, hit a button, and it starts scanning. We'll see if it does the continue or if that button's only good for one at a time. Gail, I can definitely give you access to the directory where I store these. So if you wanna take a stab, I've been using Photopea online, just photo like Photopea, Photopea or Photopea on the web to do all my Photoshop work, and you know I make like the title cards and stuff for this in there, and I've been loving it. It's free and it works for pretty much everything that I was in the old days using Photoshop for. But, you know, it's in a web browser and there's ads in the corner. Oh, and hey, by the way, welcome to the stream. Oh, wait, no, you were here early on. I said hi to you earlier. And hey, Dubsy, welcome. We're just doing ad scanning today. I mean, I know we've walked through these before for the neatness factor, but now we're cataloging. So these aren't just okay for now photos. These should be complete quality. Like, we should be able to really work with these scans once we trim them down. A lot of the other stuff I'm expecting we will come back and do real high quality photo shoots for, with a nice backdrop and perfect lighting. But most of what I've been shooting the last 4 weeks has been put it down, take pictures of the manufacturers, take close up of any text, flip it around, get pictures of any marks, and move on to the next item. So then, oh, Gimp, you a Linux user? No, I know it's not just on Linux, but yeah, that's a great one. Little high learning curve back in the day. It's probably all pretty standard stuff these days, but they were ahead of their time for sure. But yeah, with the photographing the artifacts, it's mainly so that we have a visual record of everything we have, so that insurance is possible, and just so we know offhand, like, somebody says, oh, I stumbled across such and such, do you guys have that in the collection? I or anybody else would be able to go through, find what we have that's similar, bring up the photos and be like, well, we have it, but we don't have it from that maker or in that variety or with that, stamping or whatever. So that'll be super duper useful to us. And that's what we're hoping to accomplish with all this cataloging work that I honestly think is going to keep on going until probably August, at our current rate. But that's okay. That's what this is. That's what this whole concept is. I'm not in a rush. Everything's just the steps that are necessary, one at a time, and we'll get there someday. On Ubuntu, we're switching some of our web serving stuff over to Ubuntu. I'm trying to get into it. I'm still old school with CentOS. Which is no longer going to be doing what they got into the business to do, so I don't know. To be the super stable downstream build, not the upstream testing build. Turkeys. Yeah, I mean, once you have the concepts down in terms of like layers and filters and all the effects and plugins that you're using. I mean, most of anything that you're using a plugin for generally is made for both. So yeah, I can't imagine it's too nuts to switch over. I mean, that's like where I'm using the online one. It's just Photoshop. It's just the same layout, I'm sure there's features it can't do, but it's just crazy that your browser can do as many things as it does these days. Libby's tomato juice. Oh, somebody just left a whole cat litter can just hanging out. That's yeah. I guess a win for you if you needed another one. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a cat, there's no mystery. You're already used to cleaning that stuff out. Bought a bundle of Linuxes from an eBay store that appears to have stopped selling. Like you got like old like Yellow Dog and like Bee and random old Gentus and stuff like that. I had a binder of old dead operating systems for a while. I don't know if I still do. Like Corel had an operating system for a little while. When Steve Jobs left Apple and went and founded NextStep and OpenNext, founded NextStep and was making the Next OS, and then Next either came out of or went into OpenStep, I forget. And then there was all the BSD stuff. Now we're talking tech. My since we're talking trash, my trash pickup's been crazy lately. It's just no idea when it's going to come. Anywhere from Wednesday to Saturday now. So this week it was Saturday, and I caught it. I don't like putting my trash out even the night before, let alone days before, because we got a lot of stray animals in my neighborhood, and they'll just eat right on through and then pull your trash all over the place. So it's just been annoying. Our trash day officially is Thursday, but sometimes they're a week, or sometimes they're a day early. If there's a holiday, they're supposed to be Friday instead of Thursday. But then there'll be a holiday and they'll do Friday, and then they'll just stay Friday for the next like 3 weeks, even though there's no more holiday. It's like they get into a weird cycle or something. Hey, have a good rest of your day, Zeno. And then, then I don't even know this week, what they, other than there was Memorial Day, but now it was Saturday. So, whatever. It's just weird. Can never count on it. Old fedora. Nice. Okay, and last for this series. Oh, uh-oh. So this is another one of those ration coupon ones, or so I thought. So this is talking about rationing, but the real ad's got to be this. I had this in the wrong series, I think. Another Campbell's Soup Ration C. So this Bird's Eye one, I don't know. We're going to count this as a C ration one. That's a shame, Kalen. People digging through your trash and not at least having the decency to not make it worse. Every now and then, a little dumpster diving's good for the soul, but you gotta clean up after yourself. Alright, so this one I'm going to put into the original series, and I'm just going to move its picture over since it'll be the last one. Alright. Now that's the spirit, Pete. Never dumpster dived in a way that can be proven. I don't know. I definitely did a lot. College era, I haven't, had any reason to in years and years. Though, if I lived in a smaller town than Philly, I'd certainly go to the dump pretty regularly for electronic waste and stuff. I'm always hoping to find old computers, 70s computers, 80s computers, and home gaming systems and stuff. Because I can fix those. So if it's in the dump, I know how to fix that stuff. Like I can fix an old Commodore 64. I can fix an old Amiga. I can fix a lot of that stuff. Can diagnose what's wrong on the circuit board and can figure out what's got to get replaced. And it can do recaps and all that stuff. So those are fun. When you can find good old electronics that are worth fixing up. Especially these days. People are apparently paying decent real world money for Commodores and stuff. I just like to fix them. Most of the dumpster diving in college was like computer parts and stuff to resell on eBay as a supplemental income. Oh, I didn't pull the stick and copy the pictures for Series 2. Wandering around on trash night, that's a whole different story. That's totally fine. Going around on big trash day, pulling TVs and stuff like that. Either to fix or to swap parts, doesn't matter. Okay. Series, added that to the end of Series 1, Series 2. So that's neat that I got a couple of those bird's eye ads on the backs of other ads. Gonna need eventually some way of tracking that. Or should find separate copies of them if I want to collect home time rationing stuff too, which can be dramatically more expensive, oddly enough. Folks really like the grocery store ration poster kind of stuff, so those are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Most of these were like $5. Some of them were whole collections for not too much. There's hundreds of dollars into these ads. It's just they're much more approachable. Like I think the whole ad collection is about as much as what some of the grocery store like full-on rationing advertisement collections, or I mean not collected posters, just full-on ration posters go for. Like I know that they're a little bigger, but not much. Like some of them are like 1.5 by 2, not even 2 by 3, and go for $400 or $500. Oh, insert media. Of course, gotta do that. There we go. Got some brick CB radios. Nice. Growing up, I never had a Commodore. I had IBM System 2 Model 30, and we had a Nintendo, and we had an Atari 2600. And compared to a huge portion of the world at the time, that was lap of luxury. Yeah, you're probably right, Kalen. They didn't waste, you know. Some of those war ration posters, like I mean, they're like, so there's a couple like famous ones. Victory Garden ones, stamp ones. The World War I, you know, be patriotic, sign your country's pledge to save food by the Food Administration. That one always goes for a couple hundred. Of Course I Can. Ration Points one. That one's a couple hundred usually. It's just, they're unreasonable. I'm not going to pick those up. I'll probably get some reproduction sometimes. A Vic 20, nice. IBM Aptiva running Windows 3.1. My System 2 Model 30 just ran DOS. No hard drive, 640 kilobytes of RAM, and you know, 2 3.5-inch floppy drives on the front. The non-floppy floppy. That thing was, you know, my introduction to home computers, so very important to me. This has got a bit of a ragged edge, but it's beyond the bend in the magazine, so I'm just going to fold it back. Yeah, Kaylin saying her high school had an assortment of apples, it sounds like. We had, in high school, I think we had Gateways. In grade school, we had Apple IIes, like a whole lab of Apple IIes. We never had any 2Cs or 2GS or any of those. We had just the green screen, the monochrome green Apple IIes, the quintessential education Apple, you know, the one that everybody played Oregon Trail on. At least in my generation. Wasn't too much later that they all started having the 2Cs and the 2GSs and stuff where, you know, it's running an actual operating system instead of just basic. There was a point when I put in for an auction and I won pretty much all of those computers for $1 total. And I had 3 or 4 carloads to bring them all back to my barn, my mom's barn, when we still had that place, and stacked them all up and was trying to figure out what to do with them. I had a whole ton of laser 128s, a whole big pile of Apple IIes, and when we moved, they were all still there, so that was a shame. But you can't haul stuff around forever and hope that it's worth something later on, because, you know, if you think about it in terms of what the storage unit bill would have been for 20 years holding on to those machines until they were worth some money again, I bet you I'd have paid more for storage than I could get for them, even at $300-400 per machine these days, or whatever they're going for. $200, something like that for a machine. Basic programming in DOS. Nothing too crazy back then. Well, thanks guys for keeping me company while I'm scanning. And again, I know this one isn't the most exciting episode in the world, but just another glimpse into what we're doing to keep this project moving. And this one, I hope, is going to turn into being able to share some good stuff with everybody online. Some really high quality scans of these. Yeah, it's hard to get a flatbed scanner that can do something that big these days too, but ledger size. I never did put a Series 1, Series 2 label. Yeah, and I don't intend to let them get any access to sunlight to reduce their color retention. Caitlin was just saying how clear, I mean, how good these are looking for their age, and yeah, they're hopefully going to stay in the dark in good humidity and temperature conditions and stay looking like this. But it's good that we're getting them scanned in while they all do look great. Thinking about some pizza? Man, that sounds good. I think I was telling you yesterday. Found one I like. I found one I really like by me in Port Richmond. Zizos. Out in Montana, I ate a lot of Domino's. If that gives you any idea about the the pizza landscape out there, you don't have as many choices. I don't know. They like pizza a little different. You know. I like pizza to taste good. I guess out there they're not a big fan of that. I just want it round. Pete says he knows about being kept in the dark. Yeah. All right, I'm thinking. So we have this iced tea mix that was also from the Food Package Survival General Purpose. This looks like it's going to be consumable. It wants 8 fluid ounces of water. So we're going to put this in this water bottle that I was using for the other tea, or I mean for the lemonade. It'll overwhelm it. It'll be fine. And I'm going to go get some water in here and be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. So, nothing looking wrong with this. Just mix it up. Put roughly 8 ounces in there. Oh yeah, this looks good. This looks like something else in a bottle. Northern Lights Pizza. Northern Lights out in Montana was a sporting goods store. Oh, wow! There's just this awful bolt setup on these chairs. I guess I'm a little bonier than I used to be, but I sit wrong, and boy howdy, that does not feel great. In the 70s, your mom worked in a local. I thought that said Alcoa for some reason, like, the aluminum maker. I thought that said Alcoa in a local pizza joint in Fremont, Nebraska. Did they have a Ms. Pac-Man there? Yeah, every good old pizza place had a Ms. Pac-Man. Well, I guess Ms. Pac-Man would have been 82, but did they have Pong there? Oh, is it the vegetarian taco pasta? The crumbled sausage or crumbled taco meat in pasta? Is that what you're having, Kaylin? Or is it a different one? I had one of those just the other day. I keep eating those 2018 AmeriQual disaster rations. I love those things. I got a lot. I'll just say that. I got a lot of them, and I keep having them on random days. This weekend I had curry chicken ration on Friday that I'd never tried before, and Sunday I had some spiced apples from 2000, and I had something else. I had another main. I just can't remember what. Pasta with veggie crumbles and taco style sauce. Pizza City had Donkey Kong. Well, that's where it's at too. Can't go wrong. A lot of Donkey Kongs got converted into other stuff later. I mean, and that was such is life with arcade machines. Like if you had a machine in your arcade, in your arcade or in your pizza parlor, and people played it and played it and played it, and then they got good at it, they'd spend less money on it. And if they got really good, they'd get bored with it. And when they got bored with it, they didn't want to play it, and they didn't want to drop quarters in there. And you had a machine that cost a ton of money that you don't necessarily want to just shelve. So they sold kits so that you would start with a machine that was common and swap out certain parts, and you'd have a different machine. So like you'd get a kit in a bag that had 2 side labels and a marquee label and like a control panel label for Tetris, and then just a swap out board to unplug your regular board and put Tetris in there. That was the most common thing it seemed like they turned Donkey Kongs into specifically. But there were, of course, a lot of things. Most arcades went through a life cycle. Were 2 or 3 machines by the time they retired. So it's neat sometimes you're reconditioning an old machine and you're peeling something back and you realize it was something else beneath. I mean, in the end, they're just big wooden cabinets. That part is not what's important about them. necessarily. Yeah, you can always get plywood. Yeah, you might not be able, well, I say that. Yeah, take the apocalypse into account. I forgot to swap this back. But, you know, getting the actual circuit board and everything that makes them work is a little easier said than done for a lot of these older ones. Oh, Pocket, what are you trying to tell me? Oh, it's 6 o'clock. That's all that is. All right, 6 o'clock. We're making really good headway. We did 30 in that first set. I didn't count the second set, but it only looked like about 10 or 12. So this set should probably be another 30-ish. And then just got one more set, which is all the packers and transportation. And that should be a pretty big set too. That's probably another 30 or so, which would put us around 100, which would be great. I think that's about where we're at. I was gonna guess 70 to 90, but if we're at 100, that sounds pretty good. There's an arcade near you that's got Xboxes and Nintendos and stuff. Well, that's interesting. It's kind of a weird approach. I mean, I guess these days it's probably, you know, weird to young folk to see great big stand-up dedicated boxes that only do one thing, you know. That's not really how their world works. They think of a game console or game system, they're used to it being hundreds of things, or having all these modes, or doing whatever. Whereas, you know, asteroids played asteroids. The end. Food packet survival general purpose is a good overall meal for the day. I wonder how many calories are in one of those. I don't know offhand. But if each of these bars is in the 250 range, or at least around the 200 range, let's say 200. And there's 2 shortbread, 1 granola, 1 chocolate cookie, and 1 Wintergreen. Chocolate dessert, shortbread, Wintergreen, and 1 cornflake. So there's and then that candy bar, I mean that bar of candy. That's probably another 200 or 300 by itself too. If a pack of Skittles is 250, that's probably 200 right there. So overall, I mean, that could be 12 or 1300 calories in a can. Well, plus the drink, plus the soup. You know, that might be more like a 1400 calorie ration or something. That's just a rough guess. I'm sure we can figure that out at some point. Before the apocalypse started, I was getting into arcade games, and I was thinking for a little bit about trying to open up an arcade in a dirt mall. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with dirt malls. I would assume a lot of you are, or have another name for them. I'm talking about year-round indoor malls that are open on weekends, where folks rent out stalls and set up semi-permanent stores. You know, the place where you can go buy slightly expired kitchen goods and stuff, or next door will be a place that sells just old VHSs, and then the next one will be a place that sells, you know, old stereo equipment, like heaps and heaps and heaps of stereo equipment. You know, and the next people will be like Amish popcorn. You know, I love those places where sometimes, and we called them dirt malls because some of them had dirt floors, you know, and would be built in old pole barns or just regular barns. Nowadays, they're mostly purpose-built structures for them and stuff. But you walk around, you visit all the stalls, you get some food. It's like a fair, it's more like a fair than a mall. And I love those places. There's a whole bunch of them around Philly. But they have, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, they have, usually, almost everyone I've ever been to has an arcade in it. Just a little one, maybe even the size of this room I'm sitting in with 6 or 8 machines. And that's what I want to do, like start something like that. But I had all these theories and all these thoughts and all these plans, and thankfully kind of refocused back to, if I have all the time to do all that, I have the time to make the museum work. So, I put a pin in all those other rando ideas that try and take over focus, and been working on this as much as I possibly can since the resurgence in it last summer. So, this is great. We're making progress on this thing. I need to dial back the new collecting, but getting this catalog, getting it online, getting things scanned, sharing that stuff. That's what matters now. I-95 Marketplace, was that one in Cherry Hill or somewhere around here? It's no, Cherry Hill wouldn't be 95, would it? No, that's Route 78. I-95 Marketplace. I don't know that one. There's a new one that's just opened up in Bristol last year. If they held through the pandemic, we'll see. But yeah, I checked out quite a few around Philly before things closed down. I haven't gone back around to do any since, because weekends have been pretty solidly booked for a while. Oh, over in Langhorne. Got it. One of the little arcades around here went out of business in one of the indoor flea markets, I guess is the more PC term for dirt mall. But it was run by a crazy person, though. It was at least like not trying to gouge people when they were there, but it had just really, really, really awful buy them on Alibaba.com kind of like import Chinese generic game arcade machines instead of games you've ever heard of, and then like 2 of those. When they closed down, they spent months and months just relisting the ads over and over and over. They wanted like $7,000 or $8,000 a piece for their awful, awful Chinese arcade machines. They looked horrible. They played the dumbest games you've ever seen. Bristol Indoor Market's gone. It just opened last year, if I'm talking about the right thing. Was it just horrible timing? It was opening for what I'm talking about was opening for the very first time in March last year, and then timing was just bad. But if it didn't make it off the ground and they just did one big discount store, I guess that would make sense. But I wanted a new dirt mall. But yeah, 7,000 or 8,000 was like what you'd pay for an arcade machine in the 80s for a brand new, like Ms. Pac-Man, or a brand new, whatever. Yeah, no, that's the one I'm talking about. The one that was in the Walmart, was gonna be the Walmart building. Huh. So it's just a generic, like, discount goods store now. Oh well. There's still quite a few around here. Well, we'll see. I actually don't know how many went under, and I would think that some of these kind of places probably never even closed during the pandemic, because they're that kind of a place. Galaga was a great game. The Galaga Ms. Pac-Man 20th anniversary in 2002-ish or 2000-ish was one of the more popular resurgence arcade games. I think part of why arcades came back for a little while was that one getting made as a brand new game. Though, I don't know, Neo Geo was in the height of its popularity in the early 2000s. We're way off topic now, but that's all right. This is just a lazy Sunday stream for folks. Yeah, Battleship New Jersey. I still haven't been over there. I've flown my drone over it. Whether or not I was supposed to, I don't know. But, I mean, in the early days, I flew over all of Philly before they started making regulations about just about everything. I mean, I think it's all overkill. A drone falls out of the sky from, 200-300 feet up and hits you. It's going to hurt, but almost certainly isn't going to kill you. And besides, we don't put those same stipulations on just about anything else we do. Like, oh, what if somebody just swerves randomly driving down the road? All these people on the sidewalk are unprotected. Maybe we should build a cage and some kind of, bar system so that cars can't leave the road ever, or what? I don't know. As with any technology, there's some risk attached to it. I don't think I hit scan on that one. We'll see. Spy Hunter, great game. Centipede, can't forget Centipede. Golden Axe. I don't know if anybody was a Golden Axe fan, or like the 4-player Simpsons arcade game, or X-Men arcade. Now that's something that the home consoles they have in a way, but it just wasn't the same as like you and 3 friends, or with the X-Men game up to 5 friends, like crowded around a machine, all banging buttons and shouting and telling each other what to do, and exasperatedly dying and whatnot. It's neat. So I've been thinking while I'm sitting here, I wonder if this chicken bouillon might actually be good. But the fact that no, it's not going to be good. Like, it's soft. I don't think I'd try it even if it was open. It's just weird. Like, everything they put into these is so, well built to last, and then there's just a little sachet of regular bouillon. There's a couple good installations I do want to visit. There's the Battleship New Jersey here. There's the submarine here that I can't think of, and then there's a submarine that's the sister ship to the submarine here, landlocked in the middle of the country somewhere. The USS Batfish. Always wanted to check that out. I don't think that's in Nebraska, is it? No, that's in Oklahoma. In Muskogee, Oklahoma. So they must have brought it up the Mississippi River or something? No, I don't know. They brought it up a river. Grew up playing a WWF game at the mall. Oh, nice. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4-player. Heck yeah. Sorry. All right, we got through the whole cigarette series. I'm going to hit finish. We'll pull this stick and back up series 3. Yeah, the TMNT base game was awesome. And then there was the Turtles in Time follow-up game that was good, but wasn't quite as good. NBA Jam, can't forget NBA Jam. I just want to check out the galleys on all these things. Is that crazy? Like, I just want to, like, we go on for a tour and it's like, yeah. Where's the galley? Where do they cook? Where's the mess hall? Can I see the mess hall? Where's the officer's mess? I want to see the officer's mess. Can I see the officer's dishes? Can I see the abandoned ship, ration stores? Can I look inside the rafts and see what rations they have in there? That's all I'd want to do. It's really all I'd want to do. Oh, Chris, you went to the I thought you were saying to the Batfish one. The USS Iowa's in Oklahoma as well? Interesting. Galaga. Great games. Yeah, Tim says he'd love to see the Iowa, but he's not a fan of California. I have not had great luck entering the state of California without anger. They have so many rules and regulations and expectations and whatever else. I don't understand the mindset of California. To each their own, for sure. But I had one incident. I was crossing into California. I was driving my RV that I don't have anymore, but I'm driving, coming up to the border, and then like traffic's diverted, and there's all these lanes, and there's this big overhang, and they want to ask you 20 questions and come into your RV, and I just stonewalled them. I'm like, no, gonna need you to show me where I'm legally required to comply with any of this. And I'm not that guy normally. I swear, I'm not the like, am I being detained or am I free to go? But like, I was driving around, a couple 1,000-mile trip in my RV. No one's coming inside under any circumstances that's an authority to walk around and look at what's in my RV, period. You're not allowed. You're not invited. And this whole like border checkpoint fruit check thing that they were doing in California wasn't something they could force the residents of other states to comply with. We weren't held under we weren't held under any legal requirement to comply with the suggested course of action that was in the state of California at the time. And I know that they're like, trying to prevent the spread of this, that, or the other, but life will happen the way it's going to happen. And all of those kinds of efforts are in vain, in my opinion. They're just going out of their way to try and use regulation and government, control to prevent something from happening that they just can't prevent from happening. And, and damn the cost, they'll spend tens of millions of dollars to build all these stations and man them with people and do all this to try and prevent some spore from getting into their oranges or whatever else. And then it will anyway. It absolutely will anyway. And, they'll just say, oh, well, I guess we didn't have enough government in the way. I guess we didn't have enough government trying to keep the people from being the people. And sorry, I know you only said like one little thing there, Tim, but the government is not good at anything they do. Period. Like, don't put your faith, your life, your well-being in the hands of the government. They're there to deliver the mail. That's it. All right, just making sure these are nice so that they're not, or nice and sorted so that they're collated or whatever, so they don't get bent sitting in with each other. channels. Readiness Reviews and History Savior have gone into a few ships each. Oh, nice. Readiness Reviews just had his had his interview and filming with HBO on Friday for that series they were doing, How To with John Wilson. They're doing an episode about sense memory and stuff attached to the wine industry, talking about, people, I guess, what goes into the smell factor with wine and all that, and the taste nostalgia and all that. And the show's kind of like sociology / nature program about people more than about the topics they're covering. And so they wanted to talk to some folks that eat really, really old food as kind of like a contrast to the fancy folk that are drinking fancy wine. It's like, oh, here's people that are like, getting that, like, I taste spoiled milk and, stale rice. They were looking to get something like that, I think. And, of course, they were looking for Steve, and then they reached out to a couple of us. I think a couple of us were suggesting Smokey or Readiness Reviews, and in the end, they went with Readiness Reviews for the interview thing, and did some filming on Friday. So we'll see. Hopefully, they don't make them out to look crazy. I know there was some concern from some of us that was kind of what might happen with the way the show felt. I was a backup, and I'll be honest, I was a little sad I didn't get picked, because I just was going to say Ration Museum 1,000 times while they were there, so that whatever made it out clip wise would at least say it once or twice on TV. But that's all good. Yeah, he's a great guy, so I'm sure that's going to be a fun episode. They got him some LRPs to cook up and eat, and I think a B unit, like a Korean War looking B unit, maybe a Vietnam B unit, but so that should be cool. We'll know when that's going on the air eventually. But the show's How To with John Wilson. It's funny if you check it out. It's pretty neat. All right, so that's Series 3. Let's put this back in. And I've noticed I still have my voice and I can still talk today, so maybe drinking a full liter is a good idea with these streams. All right. Still upset about the one I mangled. I am still very, very happy, though, that it was not that big meat one, that red meat, or the red ad that just says meat. It has that opened C ration meat can. Very glad it wasn't that. Just triple checking that there aren't any more out here. Okay. Yeah, so here's the side that thankfully stayed okay-ish. And then this side, I don't know if you guys can tell how crinkled and crunched up it got. It ain't good. All right. medical setups used to interest you too? Interest you as well because you used to work in medicine. That's cool. Yeah, again, I just keep going rations, but I always like the specialty rations for medical recovery and that sort of stuff, like the dental rations or the post-dental surgery ration, or whatever, however else you would call it, the liquefied food kind of ration, or at least easy to eat stuff that you can't, that doesn't involve chewing. Stuff that's made in much smaller quantities. Now I know that's not what you're talking about, but I like that those are out there. I do want to find some someday. Oh man, I found some UGR. The B is done, so now it's the UGR-M for the same thing. The B being the one that was a lot of off-the-shelf components. Now it's a mix of off-the-shelf components and the trays, but still expects you to have a full-on a full-on kitchen to cook and a full-on mess setup to serve. So it's a 3-parter. It's meant for serving 50 people. So I found one out in California, and I'm talking to the guy. Who knows? Might work out, it might not. Found something else that I'm talking to a guy about that might work out, might not, but I really hope it does. And it's the remnants of a potential or partially rotted out food packet in-flight individual 1976, 76 or 74. I think 76. The whole case. So I'm trying to get the box, which is in very displayable condition, and about 30 inner cans that are still okay, and the accessory packets, and then 4 of the inner boxes that are in not really nice display state, but in good enough state that they're worth keeping, preserving. And that was one of those spotted something in the background of an eBay auction, reached out kind of situations. Man, I would think aircraft carriers, modern aircraft carriers, have a crew complement of over 1,000 people in some instances. Man, you got to think they have to have a pretty solid kitchen going on. When I was in Boy Scouts, I worked at a Boy Scout camp in the Poconos, Goose Pond, and when I worked there, one year I did kitchen duty. Well, just as the job, I was the dishwasher for 2 weeks, and it was because there had been a walkout, and I was the only dishwasher for 250 people eating 3 squares a day, and it was a military kitchen for the most part in terms of gear, and it was a military dishwashing setup, and it was all military trays, all Korean War surplus. Had been set up in this camp. 5,000 people on an aircraft carrier. 5,000 people? Wow. I mean, I've lived in quite a few towns that aren't that big. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It is a full-on, town on the water. That's insane. That's so many people. Oh my God. If we ever lost one with all hands, that'd be the single biggest, maritime disaster. I don't even want to think about it. That's just crazy. How soon till it's all robots, you wonder? You know, the Navy in particular, I think we're gonna see a heck of a lot more drone development. We're gonna see drone full-on ships, launching drone sub-ships, launching drone planes, not really needing as many people on board. You know, and a lot of the people are, you know, supporting, you know, the off-ship actions of others. So I mean, there's some of that would still be needed, but I really honestly think we're going to see full-on automated military ships in our lifetime. Yeah, that makes sense. If there's, you know, enough jobs for 1,500 people to do at any given moment, you'd need 4,500 people to keep those jobs manned through the shifts. Though I know that for whatever reason, you know, people seem to think that if you're on the sea, your work day is suddenly like 12 hours or 14 hours, no matter what. So, you know, the shifts can be pretty nightmarish. Something just made a whole series of clicks. It was a little weird sounding, but everything's still online here, so here we go. Continuing. All right, 6:30, and we still have a chunk of this stack. We're going to get through it all today. That's super awesome. I'm going to try and double scan this huge one and see if I can mesh the two together, but who knows? That's going to be a big ask, I think. I mean, I'm sure on these ships, I'm sure there's even... Wait, what's that on the computer made a noise? Now I'm confused. But, you know, I'm sure there's like recreation. I bet there's even arcades on some of them. Because I know arcades and military bases were absolutely a thing over in Japan and Germany and whatnot. I'd assume here too, but I know just from stories of family and whatnot that they absolutely were a thing overseas. And Japan seems to have picked up a lot of their love of video games from the games that were being set up on U.S. bases in the occupation. Bit by bit, we're getting there. I've heard like one of them had a bowling alley and this, that, and the other. Oh, now I'm thinking of the bowling alley in the White House that Nixon put in. If you guys haven't seen pictures of that era when Nixon gutted the White House and had a lot of it rebuilt internally, you know, turned it into like a hardened military facility, sort of, and dug down, since, you know, the White House itself, they don't expand it, they don't tack new stuff on it, so they built a good deal more underground in the 70s. Caitlin says the big ships had movie theaters. Chris says some have a Starbucks. Some have arcade machines. No bowling alleys on any aircraft carriers. As soon as I said it, it sounded really stupid. So thank you for calling that out. I guess something where you're rolling a ball around is probably not going to mesh very well with being on the ocean. Even though I'm sure aircraft carriers are dramatically more steady and flat and stable than a lot of ships, but I'm sure there's still some movement. Almost time to crack into this. I just like that, this whole set. Let me grab one. So these are all, and I might keep them this way. These were all tossed in like seal meal bags, but the date code 2365. So the 365th day of 2002 in these cases. Says expires December 2007, which is These are excellent. And a lot of the turn of the century ones aren't. They can be pretty iffy. Yeah, that's a good call. Kalen says the pins would just fall over by themselves. I can imagine. Yeah. It sounded dumb the second I said it. Like, oh, I wonder if they got that. Nope. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm sure they have to have like a full-on gym. I mean, if TV and movies are to be believed, people would just be using the hallways as a never-ending track and field course just on runs. Just can't imagine that works out with a lot of people needing to get places in the hallways. Ooh, we're getting there. I was just thinking basketball. I was trying to think of if that would be dumb, but no, on a larger ship, that could be fine. And there's quite a few folks in the military that don't look at PT as like a negative thing in any way, shape, or form. They're built to exercise. They need that gym or they'll go insane. So yeah, I can't imagine putting them out to sea without it. Corey, I thought you went to bed an hour ago. Well, you'll be happy to know we're almost through the whole stack. Everything will be scanned, and I'll be finding some way to get this stuff up for folks to share it. So I've got a bunch of 94s, some 96s, some 99s, some 09 or 08 food packet survival general purpose. Seems like the Wintergreen is in this like turn of the century era. These are all very late 2002s. I have confirmation that they did appear in some 2003s, but beyond that, I'm not sure. You know how long it was in production. If anybody has any definites, you know, where they've seen reviews where they know the dates and pull them out. Problem with the four-year dating and the lack of major changes, yeah, it's hard to tell some eras apart. The interim label's nice, and the cans are a dead giveaway between the brass and the silver, and then moving into the boxed ones. Glad we're getting all this done in a day, because this scanner belongs to my day job, and I had to disconnect it and haul it down here and set it up and program in this wireless and all that. And I'm gonna have to delete all that and put it back and reinstall it before I go home tonight. So, you know, we don't have this available for every scanning need, but for right now, for one good long push through all this stuff, it felt like it was worthwhile. I'll give you $350 for it, Corey. Don't worry. Ow. Oh, Kaylin, you haven't had one? Well, consider it done. I'll send you a 1999 or it might be 99 or 09 that I've had from the same case, and they're good. So consider it done. You've hooked us up quite a bit. Don't let me forget. I'm going to be putting some stuff out in the mail this week, so we can take care of that. A jet mechanic at Eggland. Where is Eggland? What is that? Eggland sends their best to the grocery store, don't they? Eggland's best. I was just looking at the ad on the back of one of these. It was intriguing. It was saying paint the different parts of your machinery, very bright contrasting colors in the workplace to avoid workplace camouflage where everything looks like everything else. Oh, okay. I swear. No, Eggland Air Force Base in Florida. Okay. Not England. Eggland. Man, everybody else in your school, they don't know what they're missing, Corey. Waking up and eating normal breakfast and going to school. Man, if I could have got a jump on all this and be eating Army food in high school, man, oh man, who knows where we'd be. I mean, I had some MREs in middle school, high school era on hikes, but with the Boy Scouts, and that's where all this started. But definitely didn't get as into it as I could have. Now this is that double up, which I think this is the only straight up duplicate. We'll see once I sort these. You know, that's why I'm not numbering any of this right now, is I'm gonna resort all the scans so that the ones that are the same companies can stick together. And we'll see if we had any overlap that I didn't catch the first time through. Like, I feel like I might have 2 of the ad where they're cooking dinner on the engine of a Jeep. So has everybody had to move on into summer weather preps? I had to install my AC finally yesterday. Yesterday. Made it till 97 degrees in Philly with, I don't even know what percentage humidity, but it was enough. It was enough to move over into AC. And that's another nice thing about having the museum separated from my home life, in the sense that I keep my house hotter than Rations would like, you know? And while I had all the Rations in my house, had to go out of my way to keep it colder than I necessarily wanted it to be, but I didn't want them to get damaged. So now they live underground in the 60s. Like, you know, I mean, not the 19, in the, it's never above like 68 degrees down here. So that's nice. It's good for them. Right amount of humidity, no sunlight of any kind, and, you know, a nice low temperature. Everything's where it should be in terms of environmental factors. Oh boy, we're almost through. One more after this, and then the big fold-out one that I'm going to try and get a couple scans of. Yeah, thankfully none of us have had to endure rations. We get to sample rations. We get to enjoy rations. But when you want real food and you can't because you just have rations day in, day out, and you're in, you're in combat, or you're in forward position, or you're somewhere where you're not going to get to sit down and have hot chow for a while and help, some of this sounds pretty crazy, pretty frivolous. The idea that, oh, these are fun. No, they're sustaining. They're necessary. Oh boy, last one over here. So this last one was the one that I think it's neat. It's much bigger. Made with dextrose. Right up to the edge. That. Then we'll flip it, and then we're good. So, do technically have the shortbread bar. I'm going to save that so Nick can try it on Monday. But I'm going to eat this granola bar as soon as we're done scanning. Pack this in its own little pouch. And then we'll be coming up on 4-hour mark, and we'll be good. One MRE and one ketchup sandwich per day for a week. Oh, God. Doesn't sound super fun. Where were you? Waiting for the rest of the company. Where were you stationed? Or what were you doing? Yeah, I'd imagine you eat every single scrap of food when that's what you got for a day. I mean, they're heavier calories than a regular meal, but they sure ain't enough calories for a soldier for a day. In the desert, yeah, geez. you need 3,000, 4,000 calories a day when you're out doing, anything in the desert. So 1,200 ain't gonna cut it. Ketchup sandwich. Ketchup sandwich. You were out with one MRE, but somebody left you what, like a loaf of bread? Or did you have canned bread? Like canned white bread stuff? Hey, James. You're just catching the very, very end. Just finished the last series of scans. But you're here for a granola bar. Now, real quick, were you messing with us last night, or did you date Sheryl Crow for several years? I mean, it's totally fair if you were just messing with us, but if you're like like famous gig musician or something, let us know where we can find your work, because that'd be awesome. I know you were saying you've done, if I'm thinking right, you've done comedy and stuff, and used to be a musician, or still are a musician, but had a few loaves of bread and a few bottles of ketchup. Well, the how doesn't matter when you've got it. That's what's important. Series 4. All right. So let's see what the grand total is. We copied over series 1, 2, 3 are ready. So let's see, there's 26 items in series 4, 26 in series 3, 9 in series 2, and 30 in series 1. So we have 91 across them. So that's quite a few. And one of them's a two-sider, so we have 90 paper advertisements across the collection, which, that's fun. Just making a backup here, and then I'm going to take this little stick home so I can work on these tonight. And Gail, if you're still here, I've got your email. I'm going to give you access if you ever want to poke at these and help with cleaning them up. No worries either way. Even if you're still here. Boss lady wants to go get some ice cream. Well, hey, you gotta do what the boss wants, right? All right, guys. I'm gonna finish up with this granola bar, and then I'm gonna pack all this stuff up and head out. But I appreciate everybody sticking through one of the slower streams. Just sit and press continue 100 times on a box. But I hope you got to enjoy the Wintergreen bar earlier. Oh, and James, just so you can see as well, had this Wintergreen bar, which is a full-size bar, like, one of these, but it was a full-size bar of wintergreen material, of which I ate half, and I'm saving 2 blocks to share on Monday with others. But here we go on the granola bar. Ooh, this smells really good. mean, it's just a dense compressed food brick bar, but it's got a really, really good taste to it. Got kind of a hint of raisin or something. But this is really good. I still think the winner out of all the bars was the very first one, the chocolate dessert bar. But I'm glad to wrap up with one of these. You know, this is the energy I needed for today. I mean, between all the bars, probably had 1,000 calories. So should be plenty of energy there. All right, well, finish it off with some of this 20-year-old tea. And we'll get out of here. So thank you guys again for coming out and sharing your Sunday with me. This was Bulletin number 44. We're almost coming up on a full year of doing this on Sundays together, so I definitely want to do something special when we get that far. I think I started in June. It might have been July. I know I've missed a few weeks, so it's not a straight 52. You know, episode 52 won't be at the 1 year mark, but I'll figure it out, and we'll do something fun. I've certainly got enough stuff to do a giveaway or something, so I'll probably go that route. But as always, thank you guys for coming out, and until I see you. Oh wait, I'm not going to be here next week, so I'll be on a trip next weekend. But so it'll be 2 weeks before I see you again. But until then, everybody, stay rational.